What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on anything else we do. If you're an OG, welcome back. Now in this video is something I've been wanting to do for actually since I've got my bike, and I just never had the chance. Now in today's video I've got the chance to take these two bikes, compare them and see what the weight difference is between these two, because I think that's the only thing that's gonna have an impact on the outcome of this decision we're gonna make today. Hey guys, first of all we're going to service this bike real quick. I'm going to take you guys through the process. It'll be hyperlapse, so don't worry about boring you too much. And then we'll go see what the specs on my bike is, the specs on this bike is, and then obviously the material difference on the two frames, and we'll take it from there. Alright guys, so I'm kind of done with this bike, and obviously by some of the clips you can see what bike it is already. Now I just want to show you guys something real quick, and this is why I always tell you guys to make sure you clean your bike properly, but also to lube it and grease it according to where it's necessary. If you look at something like this, I really hope the camera picks it up, you can see all the rust inside the chain there. Now we've cleaned this chain a couple of times now and it's really super clean. Unfortunately inside there's a bit of rust. Now what we're going to do is, there you can see it quite nicely. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use this product here, the smooth chain loop. Now what this does, it creates a little wax layer around your chain, or on the little bushings and so on the chain, which is very good, especially if it's gone this far, but from new it's great as well. Now what the nice thing is about the smooth product is, and this is not a paid ad or endorsement or anything, it's a product that I use inside the store a lot. What's nice about the smooth, it actually makes your gears shift a little bit better. Obviously if everything is smooth, your cables and housings and everything, the shifting is just a bit quieter. It prevents problems like that, your chain corroding and the cassette corroding. So just remember when you guys wash your bike and lube the chain that you do it the right way. Yeah, don't put too much on there, but make sure that you've got sufficient lube on your chain. I've done the headset, I've done the BB, all those other things. I'm quickly going to do sealant top up on the wheels, and then we'll move on to the comparison between the two bikes. Alright, so I've been sitting looking at these two bikes, trying to see all the small differences that I can find between them. And there are a few differences here and there. Obviously the big one is the aluminium and the carbon, so it's the material that they used for the frames. But further I tried to see if there's anything that I can see that will make my bike 25,000 Rand worth more than the aluminium bike. And I promise you guys there's not a lot of things that I can find. There's actually just a couple of things. So I'm going to start with the things that are exactly the same on both these bikes, and things that obviously changed, but that was more or less the same as the other one. So I'm going to show that to you guys right now, and then I'm going to leave the decision to you guys to decide if it's worth more or not. And then what I'll obviously do, as always, I'll weigh the two bikes and we'll see the difference between the two bikes. Now we need to take into consideration that I've put on a carbon seat post onto mine, and then I'll talk about the difference on the other bike as well. But let's jump into this thing. Alright, let's start with the aluminium bike. Now this is the Specialized Epic comp. It's aluminium. It's one beautiful piece of machinery that's in front of me right now. The matte color of the frame, super nice. Equipped with a SRAM NX group set, the NX cassette, NX chain, and then obviously your NX shifter with a stylo crank. Moving on to the brakes, you've got your SRAM level TL brakes on here, calipers as well. The wheels on here is your normal roval control wheels with your boost hubs, 110 in the front, 148 at the rear. It's got your normal SRAM rotors on here. It's got a RockShox rebar at the front, and then your normal RockShox brain suspension at the rear. Now these are the things that I thought on my bike it might be different. Let's look at a few other things that's still the same. If we look at the handlebar, it's exactly the same handlebar. We look at the stem, exactly the same stem. Now one thing that's different on my bike than on this bike's got a dropper post in here, an X-Fusion dropper post. My bike actually came with an aluminium seat post. It wasn't a dropper post. So that's the one thing that I changed on my bike. I went for the carbon seat post on my bike. And then obviously I've got the power saddle with the carbon rails. This one's got the normal chromoly rails. So there's one thing that will definitely have an impact on the weight, but we'll add some here and there and see what difference it makes. Now if you thought the group set and the shifters are different than on my bike, well, guess again. If you move over to this bike, exactly the same handlebar, exactly the same bar stem, NX group set front to rear. It's got your stylo crank on there, the Travator stylo crank. It's got your SRAM level TL brakes and calipers. Exactly the same hubs, rims, etc. Now, I was looking at this bike and other than the dropper post and the carbon seat post, I really thought there must be another difference except the frame. And then there's a few things that I saw on the bike. Things like your little spacers here, those are still aluminium, but on my bike you've got nice carbon spacers on there. So that's one thing that makes a difference. And then there wasn't anything else. There's one thing, whoa, where am I looking? There's one small thing that you can see that's a bit more thought into it. On this bike you can see the housing running through there, and then it stops inside the rear triangle and then exits on this side again with a small piece of housing. It doesn't run through all the way. And then on my bike there's a little protective piece sitting here protecting your frame from the housing rubbing against it. I'm going to see if I can show it to you guys real quick. I don't want to move the camera too much, but there you can see that little part there that's obviously protecting the frame a little bit. And maybe the engineering and the thought behind that can make the bike a bit more expensive. Now both bikes are tubeless, both are exactly the same group set, the same brakes. The only differences between these two are the dropper post versus the carbon post. But what I'll do is I'm going to add about, and this is exaggerating, 400 grams for the seat post and the seat that I might have dropped on this, or might be the difference. So in overall on the bike I'm going to add 400 grams for things that I've changed, and it wasn't a lot. It was actually just the seat and the seat post. So let's weigh these two bikes quickly, and I hope I'm not disappointed for spending that much money and it's only like a kilogram or something different. If it's more than a kilogram, I'm going to be happy. If it's not, let's see. Alright, so obviously the first bike we're weighing will be the aluminium bike. It's got an entry-level set of pedals on there, and then I spoke to you guys about all the other things. Now, the weight, it's not bad, it's really not bad. It's less than I expected, or it's less than I expected. So we're standing on this bike at 13.63 kilograms. Now this is the Specialized Epic Comp aluminium bike, full NX group set, stylo crank, your SRAM TL brake levers on here, Roval control wheels, aluminium wheels. Very, very nice bike. 13.63 kilograms on this one. Now let's move on to the Epic Comp carbon then and see what the weight is on that one. And I must say it's going to be literally things like the seat post and the frame that makes the big difference on weight here. So let's see that then. Alright, now I must say, I've actually put a bottle of sealant into my bike, which is 510 grams, which is a lot, so I added more than I said I would. So it's 510 grams, I put a heavy set of pedals on here, just to, and I can't think that the aluminium seat post and seat will be that much heavier than the carbon seat post and seat that I've got in here. But then, the Specialized Epic Comp carbon weighing in at 12.8 kilograms. So that is more than a kilogram difference, and I put this bottle of sealants in here. Let me see if it will go down if I take it off real quick so you can get a bit more accurate reading where my bike is at the moment. Let's see there. Yeah, it's about 11.55 kilograms, which is not too bad. So it is debatable. Are you willing to spend 20,000 Rand for 1.8, for let's say 2 kilograms, 10,000 Rand a kilogram? I'm going to leave that decision to you guys, but I just thought it would be a cool comparison, the aluminium bike to the carbon bike, exactly the same group set, small differences here and there, and I promise you, you can get this aluminium bike down to 12 kilograms with not that much money spent. You can put on a carbon bar, carbon seat post and seat. You can maybe just, there's a few small things you can do, but you can drop this bike to 12 kilograms easy. I think if you drop a post, you're going to lose a lot of weight on that already. But anyway guys, that's just a comparison between the two. I thought it was super cool and I shared that with you guys. I'm happy with my bike. I think the weight on this bike and for what I spent on it, I can still spend a few bucks on this bike and get it lighter than the bike just above this one is. So there's the one thing that you guys must always remember. There's one specific range of bike that you can always buy for a very good price, and yes, you can spend on that bike to make it a lot lighter than what you would have paid for a bike that weighs that much in advance. So yeah, I'm going to do a bit of motivation just now, and then I'll see you guys on the next video. Cheers. Alright guys, I'm going to do the motivation real quick. This is something that I've been struggling with for a while now, for almost a whole year. And I'm gonna try to stop giving the COVID thing the excuse for that, but that's actually the excuse that I've got. And I've been struggling with this for a while now, and that's the commitments we make towards certain things in our life. But then the sad thing about that is if we overcommit to those things, so we commit, yes we do it, and then one month you have a super good month or a super great month and you overcommit to that. And what I mean with that is you give more of yourself, of your time, of your talents, you give more than what you promised. People always just use that. And the sad thing in life and in reality, you'll never get a pat on your back for that. The next month, the same thing will be expected from you. But I want to encourage you guys, never let that break your spirit. Never let that break your motivation to keep on trying. Because it doesn't make you a bad person. I want to encourage you guys, be strong, be courageous, stand strong in faith, and yeah, if you overcommit to things, just always remind yourself that you're doing it for yourself, because no one else will give you a pat on the back. If you can keep yourself standing strong and standing firm, and you know where your faith is, and you know that your strength lies within God, then you know you'll always make it out on the other side of life, and just a bit stronger. We can't rely on, I'm going to call it earthly things. We cannot rely on those things to make life better. We need to rely on ourselves, and yes, we can always receive help from the nearest ones around us, but make sure that you keep yourself motivated, and no matter what anyone else says, don't let it break down your spirit and your motivation. So guys, be strong, stay safe, and never say never.
Jungle of love.